Frederick, the assignment was to write a story featuring your classmates, not your favorite fandoms. Go sit down. Miss Whitfield scolded the class clown, and the boy sauntered over to his chair, obnoxiously chewing a piece of gum. And now, to read her story for the class, Lucille Mathieu? The teacher called, and I cursed internally as I slowly rose to my feet. Giggles rose around the room as I made my way to the front and then turned to look at the class. To be more specific, their hair, 'cause looking in anyone's face would literally make me break out in hives. "Any time now," the teacher said exasperatedly, and I nodded. Taking in a deep breath, I began my story. "This is a story to make you fall asleep," I began. As expected, they all broke into peals of laughter. I ignored them, clearing my throat. "One evening just after school, 6 people arrived at the local escape room to play the game. 3 boys and 3 girls. They were all strangers but 2 who happened to be classmates." The room echoed with the collective "ooh" from my classmates. They were all slated to go in together, although the room was quite simple. It contained a bookshelf filled with similar-looking books, a sofa, an old lampshade, and a grandfather clock which had stopped working. The rules were simple. A story would be told through the speakers, as well as other sounds would play, all in an effort to lull the players to sleep. Anyone that fell asleep would be eliminated. Either they stayed awake the whole time, or they found a way out of the room. I cleared my throat and looked at the teacher to see her scribbling. They all went in and waited for the game to begin. The story from the loudspeakers was indeed dull and boring. Then, white noise began to filter in from unseen speakers, and the air itself felt heavier, as if a woolen blanket had been cast over the group. Soon, the players became lethargic, struggling to stay awake and find the clues that would get them out of the room. And then, one person fell. The others tried, to no avail, to wake her, and yet she still slumbered. Panic was rising. They had to get out. There was no clue to be found in the clock. Its hands pointed at nothing meaningful. The lampshade revealed no patterns once put to the light. The bookshelf yielded nothing but books. Books with nothing in their pages. Frustration was mounting, and then someone noticed that the one who had fallen asleep had stopped breathing. This sent their panic through the roof, and they began to scream for help. At first, they thought it was a medical emergency, until another fell and stopped breathing instantly. The strangers now understood that to fall asleep wasn't just to lose the game. No, to fall asleep meant death. So they hatched a plan to break out of the room. First, they tried the door. It was firmly bolted shut on either side. Then they tried the ceiling. It was quite high and would require some strength. Strength they didn't have, as the room seemed to leach the energy from their bodies. Still, the story played. The sounds did not abate, and the air grew thicker still. In a dream-like haze, the last of them fell to the ground in a sleep so deep, the heart confused it for death, and stopped. The end. I looked to the teacher as the room remained in stunned silence. She looked up at me with a sigh and removed her glasses. "You were to tell a story about your classmates. Not only did I not hear any such mentions, but none of your characters even have identities." I opened my mouth to defend myself. "Also, where's the beginning? Where's the middle or end? What is this story about? What am I supposed to learn from it?" All I could say was, "But there are 2 people from class in the story." She raised a brow. Really? Who then? I looked around the class. Most avoided my eyes. Some were obviously ignoring me. Others were visibly not even interested. I pointed towards a couple of girls in the back. Amy Ferris and Haley Byers. I pointed, and the teacher looked their way. She sighed and wrote something down. Go to your seat. Next up, Indigo Hathaway? Later that day, as I was putting my things away to go home, I was pushed hard into the lockers in front of me by what suspiciously felt like someone's foot. Hey! Amy yelled as she forcefully turned me around. What the fuck was that in English class today, huh? Haley stood, arms folded to my right, blocking any escape. I looked to Amy. Let go, I said, as I reached up and forced her hands away. Don't you dare touch me again. What are you gonna do, huh? She challenged, getting back in my personal space and then reaching up to nudge my shoulder. I dropped my bag to the ground and pushed her with everything I had. She fell on the floor and slid back, the commotion drawing the attention of everyone in the hall. Bitch! She yelled and leapt at me, but Haley grabbed her at the last minute when she saw the crowd that had gathered. Amy pointed at my face as she was dragged away. Keep my name out of your witch mouth! I don't want to end up dead like everything else around you! I threw her the finger and smirked. Have fun in your escape room. If she'd been paying attention to the story in class, then she'll survive to see tomorrow. If not, oh well. Did it make me a monster that I had seen her die in my dreams that sometimes weren't dreams, and not said anything? It's not like she'd believe me anyway. As it turned out, I was not quite as surprised as I should have been when I heard there'd been an incident at the escape room at our local mall. Carbon monoxide poisoning, they said. Some kind of leak into the sealed room. And by the time they realized it, it was too late.
Subscribe today, or